Hello everyone, hope you are doing well and by now you have watched the previous videos on rhetoric or figures of speech. This is part 4 of rhetoric or figures of speech. Today in this video I am going to discuss figures based on imagination. There are 5 such figures of speech: personification, pathetic fallacy, apostrophe, vision, and hyperbole. So let's start with personification. In personification, nature, an inanimate object, or an abstract idea is invested with the attribute of a living being. So, a speaker or writer is found to attribute natural elements, inanimate objects, or abstract ideas with the qualities of a living being. These are made to behave or act like living beings. In fact, personality, intelligence, even activity and mobility are given to them. So you can say that the particular features of personification are: number one, that nature or an inanimate object or an abstract idea is attributed with the features of a living being, with the characteristics of a living being. Secondly, this has a sort of action, conduct, feeling, or maybe the feature of any other feature of a living being. Next is, this is done in the imagination of the speaker or author. Okay, so let us look at the examples. Proud be the rose with rains and dews. Here, sense of pride, which is generally an attribute of a living being, is given to the rose. So here the rose has been personified. Fortune is merry and in this mood will give us anything. Again, fortune is an abstract idea which is invested with the human quality of being merry. So fortune is merry and hence it can give us anything in this mood. So here fortune is personified. Next example, the thirsty earth soaks up the rain and drinks and gapes for drink again. Here, earth, which is part of the nature, is invested with the attributes of a living being in the verbs drinks and gapes, and also in the word thirsty. Okay, through these words, the earth has been personified. Next example, death lays his icy hand on kings. Death, which is an abstract idea, it receives the attribute of a living being in the expression lays his icy hand on kings. Okay, so death has been personified here. Next figure of speech is pathetic fallacy. Pathetic fallacy occurs when nature is represented as showing interest in human action either by sympathy or antipathy. So, it is so called because it is a fallacy caused by an excited state of feelings, right? Like when emotions are carried to an excess, all distinctions between external nature and human agents are forgotten. And external nature is endowed with an interest in human activities. Like under the influence of our emotion, we can refer to a river as cruel and crawling, although it is only the violent feeling of our mind which produces, for the time being, such impressions about external things. Let us look at the examples. Art felt the wound. Okay, so here where pathetic fallacy has occurred, when I say art felt the wound, so art has been involved sympathetically, right? It has been referred sympathetically that it has felt the wound. Next example, the river sighed at the sorrow of the girl. So here, again, pathetic fallacy occurred when we say that the river is sighing. Okay, so the girl is feeling sorry and she is sighing, but that attribute has been uh, like moved to the river, and instantly the whole sky burned with fury against them. So here also this is a pathetic fallacy, and here sky, which is an element of nature, is shown as feeling interest in human action in the expression burned with fury against them. Okay? So of course this is antipathy, but this is pathetic fallacy. Okay, and the last one, the dark tree moaned over the dead. Again, the tree, which is an element of nature, is shown as feeling interest in human action in the expression moaned over the dead. Okay, so the dark tree moaned. This is the case of pathetic fallacy. Next figure of speech is apostrophe. In apostrophe, a short, impassioned address is made to nature, an inanimate object, or an abstract idea, or to a dead or absent person, imagining the same as living or present. Okay, so the word apostrophe is derived from the Greek apo, A-P-O, apo means away, and strepho, S-T-R-E-P-H-O, strepho means turn. So the meaning of apostrophe is turn away. So what is happening here? That in apostrophe, the speaker or writer usually turns away from the course of his speech or writing and addresses a natural element, an inanimate object or abstract idea or a dead or absent person. And this address is short and impassioned. Okay? So the speaker is actually directly addressing this, right? It appears that the dead or absent person, the inanimate object or natural element is present there and listening to the speaker. So let's look at the examples. O luxury, thou cursed by heaven's decree. So here a short impassioned address is made to luxury. Next, luxury is obviously an abstract idea. Next, Milton, thou shouldst be leaving at this hour. Milton, a dead person by that time, has been referred to here, so this is also apostrophe. England, with all thy faults, I love thee still. England, which is an inanimate object, so this has been addressed by the writer, and this is an apostrophe. O wind, if winter comes, can spring be far behind? So here the poet has addressed the west wind in an impassioned way. So this is also an apostrophe. Uh, and how you are going to write your answer in examination hall? Like, let me explain with one example. Milton, thou shouldst be leaving at this hour. So you will write that this is an apostrophe In an apostrophe, a short, impassioned address is made to nature or inanimate object or abstract idea or a dead or absent person, imagining the same as living or present and listening to the speaker. Here, a short and impassioned address is made to Milton, a dead man, taking him as living and listening to the speaker. That's all. You have to write your answers in this way. Next figure of speech is vision. So, vision consists in the vivid representation of an absent or imaginary picture. The picture is presented with a graphic reality. Okay? So, the intensity of emotion makes man's imagination powerfully active and brings to his mind some absent or imaginary picture. He presents such a picture by means of his words with such a graphic reality that it seems that the whole thing is actually present or happening before him. Okay? So let's look at the examples. Thou from whose unseen presence the leaves dead are driven like ghosts from an enchanted fleeing, yellow and black and pale and hectic red. So these lines are taken from Ode to the West Wind. So you can see that, uh, like you can see the scene happening before you, right? This is the quality of a vision, where the picture is presented with a kind of graphic reality. Okay? Next example is not with more glories in the ethereal plain, the sun first rises over the purpled main. So again, here the poet, so these lines are taken from the Rape of the Lock, and the poet here uh, refers to the poet here describes the sun rising over the purpled main, means bright sea. So the vivid graphic description brings to our mind the picture of the sun rising over the bright sea. Next figure of speech is hyperbole or exaggeration. Okay? So, in hyperbole, an exaggerated statement is made. There is a passion in man to exaggerate a thing or idea in order to impress others. We generally do this. Okay, so thus when we admire a thing, we often cross the limit of reality and pay a glowing tribute to the same. So, this habit of exaggeration is a rhetorical device used for an effect in style, and this is hyperbole, a figure founded on imagination. Let's look at the examples. Put a tongue in every wound of Caesar that should move the stones of Rome to rise and mutiny. So, here an exaggerated statement is made, for it is too much to say that a tongue can be put to wounds and that the stones of Rome can be made to rise and mutiny. Okay? That is why this is a case of hyperbole. Next example, I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers could not, with all their quantity of love, make up the sum. This also contains an exaggerated statement, for it is too much to say that 40,000 brothers could not make up the sum of the speaker's love for Ophelia. Last one, all the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten the little hand. So again, this is too much to say that all the perfumes of Arabia will fail to sweeten the little hand of Lady Macbeth. Okay. So with this, I have completed the figures of speech based on imagination. I hope these 5 figures of speech are quite clear to you all. So if you have found this video useful, then please like, share and subscribe. Stay tuned for the next video. Thank you for watching. Keep watching, keep learning. All the best.